All right, everyone. It is it's a Friday night. I'm meteorologist Brian Good. Fancy seeing you guys here on a Friday night. All right. Obviously, I'm on here for the reason of the storms coming into play tonight. So I'm going to cover all the latest thinking on that with the radar views. Get you to the alert days that we already have out for for Saturday. We added Sunday into this morning as well. So it's not going to storm all the time, but it's certainly been active as of late. I know in many cases we've really locked out. Most of the really rough stuff has been just to the west and southwest of Louisville. We've been trending on that the past two rounds that have moved through. Of course, we got hit hard on Sunday. Then we had two rounds so far that have been relatively on the edge of a wave country. But we have one round we're going to be tracking tonight, another one Saturday, and another one on Saturday, and then another one on Sunday. So we have three more to get through. And then I think we'll get a small break. So I'm going to walk through this. Of course, we're live right now on the app, but if you are watching on the streaming side, I apologize in advance because you're not able to see the comments that are flying in right now. But if you're on social media, Twitter or Facebook, your comments are coming through for right now. Even YouTube. Hello, Roy. I see you on there as well. So if you have any questions that you have about this setup, all I'm going to ask, and this is a big favor, is just give me a moment to try to explain the setup. And then once I'm done, if I haven't answered your question, then ask. But you may have to ask it more than once because there's a lot of you in here, so I may miss it. So let me get quiet and let's get right into the severe stuff. We'll begin with a look at the radar. And it has been a very warm day today. Temperatures made it into the lower 90s in some spots, but the heat index got over 100 in many areas. You're here at the station, we got to about 99 today. So today has been certainly a little bit of a more noticeable jump in the humidity levels compared to the past few days. So that's one change in the atmosphere that we had somewhat going for us the past two rounds, where it hasn't been as crazy of the severe weather, but now we have a lot of humidity at play here tonight. So now we're entering back into that real danger zone when it comes to some of these threats that may start to show up over the next couple of days. I know a lot of you are like, well, it's still smoky out. It's actually, the smoke has been reduced significantly in the area. What you're seeing now is water. It's moisture in the air that creates a very hazy look to the sky. In fact, here's a look right now. Let me show you. This is E-Town. See, it looks like it's smoky, but it's not. Visibility is actually decent in the area. It's just the haze that we have. So we're back to the full-time summer narrative now of hot and hazy humid days. Okay, so here's the radar trend. We had these big supercells that formed this afternoon. They're still on the radar, actually, just south and west of Louisville. They are now pushing down into Tennessee. Look at the radar. I got the visible satellite, so you see the image goes dark because the sun is setting, so I'm losing light. But at the point where it was maxed out, it looks like just like a bomb went off, basically, there into Barron County, Metcalfe County, when they first form. Boom. And the reason why it spreads out like that is these clouds build up. I'll show you the tops here in a second, but they're roughly about 50 to 60,000 feet. But there's a limit in the atmosphere that they have, and then they begin to spread outward on the sides and create what we call an anvil over the area. So it looks like a big giant spaceship, like Independence Day almost. But that's covering all of southern Kentucky. These are still some very mean thunderstorm cells that have produced damage, and they have produced hail. They're now crossing over the Tennessee border. But if you look at the radar loop, you notice we're starting to see a couple more downpours trying to form north of that into Grayson County, at least close to Grayson County, all the way into Hart County. More on that in just a second. There are additional storms back to the south and west I'll show you as well. These are the storm tops. Let me see. It probably will not plot accurately there. Yeah, it's a little off on it, but let me kind of plot the new one. This is going to be right there on the Tennessee-Kentucky border. That one's coming in at 59,000 feet. Unofficial roll, but typical 40,000 feet is when you start to get into severe potential. So these are way beyond that limit. And they're not alone. There are many more that build all the way back into Illinois and into Missouri. Several reports, and it's been confirmed on this, baseball-sized hail that knocked out windshields like crazy into southern areas of Illinois. Even an airplane, one of the airports, lost its windows on the plane due to large hail. So this has been a big ordeal for wind damage and hail damage in Illinois. I know the Yankees are playing tonight with the Cardinals in St. Louis for a while. They got a lot of the people out of the stadium. Looks like that cell's passing just south of downtown right now, so I think they'll be okay, other than a rain delay. But still, some nasty-looking cells as they continue to develop tonight. The severe thunderstorm watch is out for Illinois, Missouri, West Kentucky, Southwest Indiana. You notice it has been running at the bottom of our screen over the past 3 hours. And the reason for that is it triggered up to Grayson County, Greene, and into Adair counties. And that has been the edges of the storm threat. You haven't really had too much in the way of storms yet, even though you got the alert for the severe thunderstorm watch. But look at the radar here out of Evansville. If you look carefully, see this little green line that is moving right there across Evansville. That is the outflow. That is the strong push of cold wind that was way up above. Storms push it down to the ground level, and they push it out like a mini cold front, and it's heading northeast into southwest Indiana. This should act as the trigger to produce the overnight round of showers and storms. Sorry, I'm not used to talking so much this late in the night. It's my bedtime. Showers and storms trying to form into areas of southwest Indiana. These are the ones that I think we'll have to watch and see how they evolve. The modeling is trying to grasp this idea and trying to figure out the timing of where to plot them. It's not doing great, and it's not going to do great. It's just too much of a game of pinball when it comes to these thunderstorm cells. They bounce off each other. It's hard to tell really how they will evolve until they really get going. So we have to just take this on a radar trend hour by hour. But the sign right there of getting an outflow pushing into a very humid part of Indiana, just west of Louisville, is the first sign that I am seeing that we're going to get some new development as we head into the overnight. Here's a look at the fuel. Once you get into the yellow and the brighter white, that is a lot of fuel the atmosphere's got. And you can see there's quite a bit. It's usually a setup where it tries to decrease, and it will decrease somewhat tonight, but I don't think it's going to be dramatic. So I think they will still have plenty to feed on. And one of the bigger issues I see tonight, because if you look carefully at the entire boundary, it's kind of draped here across Kentucky in a northwest to southeast fashion. The whole thing is, if you look at it as a line, it's tilting, and it will continue to tilt and become a little more of a northwest to southeast drag right across areas of Indiana into central Kentucky. That is what's going to likely lead to new development for the overnight. My concern with this is going to be, I think, not only could we get some isolated reports of large hail and damaging winds, but flash flooding, because there's a lot of moisture in the air. Dew points are well into the 70s, very much a humid tropical setup outside. So these downpours can repeat themselves, or you end up with even one heavy one you can easily get about 1 to 2 inches of rain or 1 to 3 inches of rain tonight. So be weather aware on that idea alone. But yes, there is a chance that there could be some warnings for hail and damage and winds. I am not seeing a signal that it shows anything widespread as far as crazy warnings all night long. I am not seeing that. But I do think 1 or 2 could easily get issued. Then the severe risk tomorrow. It's an enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5, roughly along I-65 points west. I'll explain that scenario in just a second, but it's mainly the wind. You see the hatch lines that are there, the black bars indicating wind gusts could go over 70 miles per hour with that round. It looks to be a late day round once again. That'll be forming, and then we'll deal with it again as we head into Sunday. All right, so modeling is tough to use this close to the time period tonight, but I will at least show you this updates every about 50 minutes or so. I'm getting a new update on this. So this is the most recent one, and it's taking us to about the 11 o'clock news. It's okay. I don't think it's picking out very well the new development that we're seeing there near Hart County and Grayson into Adair, that it's going to keep forming there. So it's kind of missing that idea. So it's important to note that. But you do see how it tries to form the new cells, though, along that boundary that, again, drifts a little more east over us, still a northwest to southeast look to it, but the whole thing moves east right over us. Now we're looking at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're dealing with rounds of showers and storms. If you're a light sleeper, this is probably not going to be a fun night for you, because there will be quite a bit of lightning with these tonight. More of that rolling thunder, but even the heavy rain will probably get your attention. This boundary is likely going to get stuck. I don't think it's going to move very much all the way through sunrise. So that's, again, why I'm concerned a little more about the idea of flash flooding than any other threats right now, as you could get more than one round moving through. It's not guaranteed that all you're going to get a storm. So I can't go 100% on the rain chance. I was only able to go about 60 to 70% because there will be some of you that will get missed. Saturday daytime will evolve with showers and storms. Did I miss Saturday's modeling? I did. Hold on 1 second. I want to put that in there. I don't want to skip that, because tomorrow we have a lot going on. We have the Riverview Festival taking place. We will start off with an active radar in the morning with showers and storms in the area. They will then move off to the east. Then we heat up. How quickly that happens, I can't stress, is crucial on how Saturday night's going to play out. If the storms tomorrow morning linger until like 2 or 3 in the afternoon tomorrow, that will help taper down the threats. All right, we saw that yesterday with the derecho, which was the big blob of wind that was coming in yesterday. They weakened really fast once it got to Louisville, because we had rain that lingered for a while longer. That was a good thing. Tomorrow morning's rain is crucial on that. If the rain fizzles out early tomorrow and we end up with some hazy sunshine, we're not only going to get hot, it's going to get in the 90s, but the stage is set for then the next round. Now, this particular model really loves a sunset to 11 o'clock time frame for the next wave to come in. This is going to look just like the past two have really looked. Big blobs of red coming our way with a straight line wind threat and isolated tornadoes and large hail. Once again, will be a threat. I think the modeling has been a little too slow on a lot of the motion on these, so I'm thinking it's going to be a little faster. So I'm going to go as early as 5 p.m. to about 11 p.m. is the thinking on that. And it could get adjusted. In fact, I think it will get adjusted, but I think that's a fair frame to go with on timing right now. So I don't want you to have to cancel your plans for tomorrow or even on Sunday, as I'm about to show you, but I want you guys to just be a little extra aware of what's happening. If you're going to a holiday party, 4th of July, cookout, fireworks, whatever the case is, just know that you need to pay attention where you're at to know if you need to seek shelter, where you can go. If you're hosting a party, you need to learn that you're responsible to try to get everyone to safety if a storm does rapidly approach. And if you're setting up one of those temporary tents, take it down. It will fly away in this kind of a setup. You have those patio umbrellas. If you're not going to be outside the next couple of days enjoying the sun, you need the umbrella, just take the umbrella down. It's ease that drama quickly there. These storms will move throughout the Saturday evening time period. I do think this threat is going to be probably the highest that we've seen so far of the two most recent ones. I'm excluding Sunday, FYI, this past Sunday. So the two most recent ones haven't been terrible for us. This one right now is standing out as the stronger one of what we've seen so far. So that's why I'm a little more worried about this one moving through with the warnings that will come into play. Sunday, it will look nearly identical. I mean, we're going to start off with a few showers and storms. We get a little bit of sun. We heat things up, get to about 90 or so. And then here we go again. more showers and storms rolling through the area with damaging winds and hail. And they'll be about the same time, maybe a little faster on Sunday that they move through here. I mean, you look at the signature there on Futurecast, that just looks downright nasty. And then by the time we get into Monday, we can relax. We can relax for a couple of days. That would include 4th of July, FYI. The boundary will finally sink a little more south to give us a breather. We can cut down on this train of thunderstorms, which we call this the Rena Fire. Thank you, Johnny Cash. Rena Fire, where the storms have been forming actually in Colorado, where FYI into Colorado, the higher elevations, it's been snowing as of late. I'm jealous. It's been snowing there. You got the really crazy heat shield. It's been in Texas. Everyone's been talking about it in Arkansas. These storms are what we call ridge riders in the Ring of Fire. It's called the Ring of Fire because it follows the entire circle. You only see part of the circle because you don't see the other half of it that goes all the way through the Gulf of Mexico, but they follow in a circle and repeat. So we are actually able to track them when they start into Colorado, and we can track them moving all the way through Illinois, Missouri area, Indiana, drop down in Kentucky and Tennessee, and they just are one right after another, after another, after another. So you've got to shift things around in order for that to change. Otherwise, it will just keep happening, and we're going to be really tired. This is the longest stretch of alert days I think we've had. I don't know if it's the longest ever. I feel like we had some before. I want to see if it was for snow. I bet I could be wrong. Probably not. But this is probably the longest stretch. We're having 4 alert days in a row here. So this is pretty wild. So that's where we stand on the storms. I do think after we get past the 4th of July, we will have another front move in. This one's going to be a little different. This is not a Ring of Fire kind of setup here for the front, say next Thursday. But more showers and storms will be likely. And we probably will have an alert day for that one. And then we may see the pattern repeat itself. Is this going to be the summer of storms? Yeah, I don't think a whole lot's going to change here, guys. I think it's going to be a very active summer for us. So yeah, drought, wet drought. That's history, right? All right, so that's where we stand on the entire storm setup. I want to at least cover all of it, go through all the motions on that, hopefully answer some of your questions on longer term. So what questions do you have for me? Take it easy on me here. All right, so let's see. Well, Angela, what's going to take to break up this weather pattern? You've got to get the entire jet to really shift. Tropical systems can do that. Typically, the Pacific has more of an influence actually on our jet than the Atlantic will. But that's also the reason why the fires have been such a big story, is because we just can't get storm systems to get into that part of Canada to put the fires out. And they keep battling them, but they keep generating new ones. So it's just a constant battle of pulling the smoke back down every time. Now, we don't have that issue right now. That's actually down into Florida is where the smoke is. Isn't it wild? Canadian smoke into Florida. But we have a break from that. But if we see the pattern reset again and our wind flow comes back in from that area of Canada, the smoke will come back. Will come back into play. Let's see. Angel, everyone's asking about your specific counties. I know Angel's asking about New Albany, Tina about LaRue County. Let me try to do a breakdown. Let me do that. Will that help? On sections. Let me kind of divide that up. Let's start in our southern areas. All right. For those of you in, if you're in Litchfield, Hart County, Greene, Taylor and Adair, shout yourself out right now in comments. If you're in that area, the boundary, because again, it's pushing from the outflow from the storms in West Kentucky, this is going to develop more. So I think we're going to see more development through this area, especially the Grayson County side of it, and it'll drift. So if you're in Breckenridge County, Hardin County, LaRue, Greene, Taylor, Adair area, you may start to see some downpours and thunderstorms before midnight. You will start to see some action begin to pop there. If you're north of that line, you get into, say, Du Bois County, Lawrence County, Perry, Crawford, Bullitt, Bardstown area, Nelson County, all the way to Marion and Washington. I think it's going to be a little bit after midnight that we'll start to see cells form there. And then obviously for north and east, from Louisville all the way up 71, you will likely be after about 1 or 2 a.m. So that's the time frame. It'll take a little bit of time because, again, these are like watching bumper cars bounce off each other here. So we just got to keep an eye on the wind field and see how that evolves and pushes back into the humid air, because, again, this is so far has been a Western Kentucky issue, but I think it's going to be drifting to north and east. I don't know if they're going to go with a watch scenario with this. I don't think it's going to be as widespread as that to probably do a watch. I could be wrong. I'm at the Storm Prediction Center. They are in Norman, Oklahoma. So they decide that. Weather Service, which is actually located there in Highview, off the Gene Snyder. They're responsible for the warnings. All those little polygons you see, they've been popping up in Southern Kentucky. So we're going to watch this. I'm going to be here tonight. Jessica, Tawana, we're all going to be keeping an eye on how this evolves, just in case we're to get a few warnings that could pop. But I think overall, it's just going to be a stormy night when it comes to heavy rain, a lot of lightning coming into play. Tara, are we talking about tonight or tomorrow night? This is tonight that I'm talking about. I know it gets confusing because we have so many rounds. We have a round tonight. We'll get about 12 hours. They're all about 12 hours apart. Those little pieces I showed you that were coming out of Colorado, that's about the spacing I'm seeing on them. It's 12 hours. So we get this round moving through. We get a 12-hour window, maybe a few more storms, another 12, a few more storms, another 12 more storms. It will take until we get the front to push south of us, which will happen Monday, to change that timing. Until then, we've got to stay in alert day status. So it's just for us to make sure that you guys are fully aware of what's happening and know that it's not going to storm the entire time. I don't want you guys to have a constant stress and anxiety here day and night. I just want you guys to be aware that the atmosphere is ready to go with storms at any point. We don't have really a cold front sweeping through here that's clearing the air out every time. It's just a trigger, and then we just recharge again in a matter of hours. All right. Heather, hope I answered your question in the watches. I don't know yet if they're going to reissue that. They'll issue a statement on it, let you know if they decide to do that, but I haven't seen anything on that yet. Let's see, Grayson County. How does Wednesday evening, MJ, look? Next Wednesday, storm threat will start to go up, more so Thursday and I think Wednesday, but it's going to be a bumpy ride coming in from California because they're going to be flying over the front. So there could be some delays depending on if there's any connecting flights or anything like that, but it will be a pretty strong front moving through the plains for Wednesday. It'll be about, I would say Thursday, by the time it gets here though. Corey, how you doing, Corey? You're tired. I hear you. I am tired too. Chris, can you show the Kentucky soundings for tonight and tomorrow? I can't on this particular system. Sorry, Chris. But they're not great to use because they can give you a snapshot of the atmosphere, but an MCS, a complex of storms, overrides a sounding profile. So it may not show a severe weather look to it, but you get an MCS that moves into it. It changes the environment on its own, if that makes sense. I hope I'm not getting too technical, but MCSs are a little different than like a supercell forming kind of deal in the afternoon. This is not the same kind of ordeal. So soundings are somewhat helpful, especially for the upper air layers of the atmosphere, but for lower layers, they're not very good. It's tough to use them. Ashley's tired. Is everybody tired? First off, what are y'all doing on a Friday night watching me? Should not be out. Somebody's got a hot date somewhere. Actually, what are the major threats tonight? Flash flooding, I still think is the bigger one. Secondary would be damaged winds. Third would be hail. Fourth and last would be isolated tornadoes. If I had to line them up, that's the way it's looking to me right now. Tara said the smoke has gone away. Yeah, it has. We're able to actually get that measurement, so it has decreased. So it's more down in Florida. There's still hints of it here, but it's nothing like we had. The haze today is definitely moisture that you're seeing, so that's why it's a little bit different on that. Denise is tired. Chris, why is confidence higher tomorrow for an enhanced? That is a good question. Let me show you that again. The reason for that is one of the waves that is coming in from California is moving in right at about this point in the heating of the day. So it's just one of those setups where it's just maxed out. There's a lot of humidity, moisture. That wave is coming in just enough of a kick. So it's timing that led to it. And that's why it's about the same spot as the last couple have been, because the timing is the same as I mentioned. They're all spaced out about evenly on 12 hours. So you're not seeing the enhanced go all the way east or anything yet. It's all been generally in the same spots: Illinois, Indiana, West Kentucky, Missouri, because of just how they're spaced out. Louisville has been in general wave country. All you watching, that's been a kind of a buffer zone. We just don't know how far east they're going to go, because we're kind of in that spot where they kind of lose their kick, or they could still hold on. It just depends because they feed on pockets of fuel here and there, and they can enhance themselves. They can get stronger, they can get weaker, back and forth. So it gets a little more of a challenge on our plate. So I hope that made sense on that end. Denise, Bardstown on Sunday. It's going to be there could be a round in the morning, but I think it's going to be another round of Sunday evening. Exact timing, I still got to work on that exact timing. I think it's going to be late afternoon, evening. We'll let you know. What'd you say, Craig? I don't think he's looking at his page. I don't see the questions he is answering. Well, they're all over. So every question you ask, whether it's on Twitter or on Facebook, I'm getting them all at once. So that's a lot. I think it's like 8 sites that are coming at me at one time. So I'm getting you all at one time there. So I apologize. If you fly on by, you're flying by. So I'll try to catch up here. Let's see. Dylan, would it be best to try for a pool day on Saturday or Sunday? First off, where's the invite? When we need, I'll go to the pool. The pool, I think we'll be fine in the daytime both days. It's not going to be a perfect sunny setup on these kind of days. It's too hazy. So it's going to be warm. Certainly have to get in the water. All right. But you're not going to see a perfect sunny scenario the next couple of days for sure. But it's the evening time periods. Once we get past the heating end of the day, 4 or 5 o'clock, that's when the storm threat kicks in. So if you're going to the pool at all, the 12 to 4, 12 to 5 p.m. window is probably your best. And that's about the time you want to go anyway, right? So I think you're in good shape there. Speaking of pools, Nathan, I have a pool party on Sunday, 1 to 3. Right now, I think you're okay. It may not be a sunny setup, but you have, if that's when the pool party is, that's your best chance to be more dry than stormy. That's the way it looks now. So that's good. The family moved the fireworks until Monday night. Much better Monday night than it will be any other night. And of course, Tuesday, 4th of July will be too. Craig, is this the El Nino setup from 2017? Craig, you commented like 4 times. You comment on every page. Sorry, Craig. I don't want you to feel like I'm ignoring you. 2017 is similar to this for El Nino. This we haven't talked a ton about El Nino. I will try to go into it more on a different day on the blog when I have more time. But it is a classic El Nino pattern. These do tend to lead to sorry, my train of thoughts scattered today. More of a wild winter scenario. And I feel like I say that every year. Get ready. It's going to snow a lot. But this type of pattern, if it holds and El Nino holds strong, would lead to a wild winter. I'll worry about that when the winter forecast comes out Halloween night. I got some time. But yes, I'm paying close attention to that. I promise. All right. Let's see. Jacob, you got a disc golf tournament tomorrow. Can you show the feature for Saturday? Sure, I'm more than happy to. Hold on 1 second. Let me get down there. Saturday, tomorrow morning, it's going to be a little odd because I just don't know how this boundary is going to, how long it's going to linger tonight because it moves pretty slow. I mean, it moves in a sort of aggressively, if you will, overnight. But you see as we head into, this is 2 o'clock. Here we go through 4, 5, 6 a.m. It really hasn't moved a whole lot. It's not one big blob. It's like little clusters, but they have the same path overall. Roughly Evansville to Lexington is the path and zipping past Louisville. I just don't know how long it's going to take for this boundary to ease. It will eventually fizzle out and become stable. It'll work against itself, if you will. But that next little wave that rolls in from Missouri later in the day will just reignite the storms. But this round here, as I mentioned before, if this can hold on and linger longer than expected, that would help things on the severe threat. And we've already seen that happen yesterday, so I can't say it won't happen. And fingers crossed that it will, because I think we just don't want any of this weather drama. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Here we got Tommy. Is Mount Washington in storms? Everyone's got a chance at storms tonight at some point. The timing is going to vary depending on where you are at. Right now, we do not have, let me show the radar one more time and kind of get a little closer view on the southern cells. And you can see them. Most of these are heading south, but again, you got to keep in mind the motion here. These are heading south. These will be building back northeast. This is going to take a while because while they are moving that way, what you have to look at them as like locomotives on the train tracks. The train track itself is more like this stretched out. So it has to also move northeast to pull them with it. If you can visually see that, that's what I'm waiting on. And so far, I haven't seen move a whole lot. It has moved a little. It's a little more into Grayson, a little more into Hart County than what it was. I think for Louisville, we need to keep an eye on what happens here at Evansville. You can see right there, just what is that? It's near Hancock County, I believe. You can see that outflow. Let me get the radar on a different mode. Hold on 1 second. Actually, let me switch back. All right. So this is the outflow that I'm watching right there. It starts to fizzle out. So I'm going to have to choose a different site, but it's roughly right here right now near Tell City. It's fading out, but it could easily form a storm at some point in this area, Du Bois County, Gibson County, Vandenberg, heading toward Evansville. That's a spot to watch. They could get some storms to pop in. But these back here in Missouri, see the motion on these? They're much different than what these are doing. You got to see the whole thing is kind of a tilting process. It's going to take some time. I would say about 3 or 4 hours, we'll start to see some new development begin to form in that new zone. I don't think it's going to be these exact cells. It should be new ones that form. So that's the reason why I can't give you an exact pinpoint time per county, especially west of Louisville, because they haven't formed yet. So I can't do that. But I can at least tell you that that's the window we're looking at, is roughly after 11 o'clock news into the midnight hour. We should start to see some development forming on the southern and western side there of the zone. And then as we head into the 2 or 3 o'clock window, that will then drift a little more for the rest of you. For the overnight in phases, not a constant, but you see what they're doing in Illinois. See how they form, they fizzle, the new ones form. Again, got to think of it as kind of like bumper cars rolling through. All right, guys, I got to get ready for the 11 o'clock, but I have a lot to update before I get them. I get all that in because we have new model runs coming in right now. So I want to look over that. I can't really do it from this angle here. We're going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to lead with this tonight at 11 o'clock. So right out of the gate on 11 o'clock news, make sure to tune in. I'll start with the radar look right at 11, and I will show you guys where we stand on any new development. I should have a better idea on some of the timing, especially if they have formed, to give you an idea where this is going to go. But I can't stress, if you have the Wave Weather app, turn your location services on so that our systems can find you overnight tonight and notify you for even just heavy rain or lightning. It will automatically go off. You can set it for that, or if you don't want it, you can turn it off as well. But that feature is available for you guys if you need it. And hopefully we don't have any warnings tonight, but we're going to be watching just in case. And then tomorrow, we'll just see how the morning goes. That will tell the story for the afternoon, evening, and then we'll do this all over again on Sunday. So I'm probably going to see you guys a lot over the next few days. Not that I don't like you all. But it would be nice to add a quiet weekend, right? But that's not the case here. So we'll keep an eye on it. Stay close to the app. Keep an eye on the weather radio if you have that. Charge your phone up tonight. Plug it in. Make sure it's got a full battery, power, strength, that kind of stuff. And make sure you're ready just in case the power to flicker or anything like that. You don't want to have your phone drained. And again, don't cancel your plans this weekend. Just stay weather aware. We'll do all the worrying for you guys. Take care. I'll see you at 11.